5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to our witnesses for being here and discussing the important trilateral relationship that is, I think, critical to deterring the Chinese Communist Party in the Indo-Pacific. So let me start with Taiwan. Assistant Secretary Lewis, we know that Taiwan is waiting on a number of FMS deliveries from conventional weapons like the Abrams tank to F-16 upgrades, asymmetric harpoons and HIMARS. Is state working with the defense industrial base to prioritize delivery of these asymmetric weapons that would be most effective at countering a cross-strait invasion? And be happy for our Defense Department witness to offer her thoughts as well.
Sir, I think that we are all very focused on getting Taiwan what it needs to defend itself. As you know, that $19 billion that you're discussing is our sales that have already moved through our process and are now in the production phase. And I think I will just say one or two things and then let Dr. Carlin speak more to that, because the Defense Department has really been leading the charge on key capabilities to reduce the timelines or increase production so that we can get those mission critical capabilities to partners like Taiwan.
Thank you. We are running an effort that is chaired by Deputy Secretary Hicks to make sure that Taiwan is getting the material and non-material capabilities it needs as quickly as possible, and that there's the most senior level attention as possible. We are constantly engaging Taiwan as well to work with them in terms of an understanding of what those capabilities would look like, obviously, in line with our longstanding policy and our commitments. I would also just take a moment now to thank Congress, because as it relates to our own military, Congress's support of multi-year procurement of munitions has been especially important for our military as we look at ensuring that we have the most combat credible force to deal with these kinds of
And Dr. Carlin, there's a lot of bipartisan work going on, not just in this committee, but also in the Select Committee on the Strategic Competition between the United States and China. And you're going to see those recommendations on multi-year procurement. The industrial base needs certainty on this. This has got to be an absolutely top priority of accelerating those FMS and getting those capabilities now, yesterday, what have you, to that democracy. Let me follow up. Out of all of the open FMS cases with Taiwan, how many can we expect to be completed by the end of this calendar year?
I think in this setting, we are not going to discuss when things will be delivered. Happy to continue that conversation.
Yeah, fair point. Just know that this is an urgent priority for the Congress, as you know. Let me ask you about AUKUS governance. Assistant Secretary Lewis, how is the State Department planning on deciding which sectors or projects are AUKUS projects that will qualify for expedited approvals under the AUKUS trade authorization concept?
Sir, we are going to be sitting down both with Australia and the UK to work through exactly those details. So obviously it needs to fit into the definitions of what we're working on within AUKUS. And then I think the second piece of that is we're also looking at making sure we understand sort of what's excluded. And we did that very carefully because it's easier to move quickly when you have a clear list of what what cannot move, as opposed to sort of trying to keep a track of what can move.
And again, I don't know if this is the right setting, but is there an example of a technology, a critical technology that is so sensitive that it could not be shared in the AUKUS?
I think I can answer that in a broad way. We have certain items that we are prohibited from transferring under treaties, for example, that would violate our nuclear non-proliferation laws.
Okay. To both of our witnesses, clarity is key for AUKUS' success. Industries wanting to participate in this opportunity need to know what is possible for this to work. They need a green light, red light system. Have either of your agencies actually sat down with your counterpart ministries in the UK or Australia and outlined specifically what barriers exist in their laws or regulations that could hinder implementation?
We have been in really a nonstop conversation with our counterparts in Australia and the UK to try to make sure that all of our systems are aligned. And that will need to continue as we continue to work through all of these steps to move forward.
That's great. Well, I appreciate that effort to give industry that clarity. With that, I yield back.